Hello my friends. This is a Bostitch staple hammer. It staples a 3/4 inch, or I'm sorry, it staples a 3/8 inch crown staple. And it's a model that's not made anymore, but it's a workhorse. I know people said that they've used these for 30 years and they're almost indestructible. So they are still usable. But what I found out is they're very difficult to take apart. When you look at them, it looks like it's riveted together. You don't see anything that would be easily removed to disassemble. There's not a single bolt holding it together. So after careful study, it's really a fairly simple thing. It's well engineered, and it's the way it's made to last a lifetime. So let me show you how you take it apart. If you're lucky enough to still have a handle, the handle is held on by a clip, and the clip is inside one side. So I use a small screwdriver, a small flat one, to lift this up to get it off of that edge of the clip, and that will allow you to slide this handle off. And this is this piece of metal that holds that handle on. Okay, when I disassemble, I like to organize the parts in the sequence that which they come off. Okay, after the handle's off, basically there's still nothing that you could see here to remove. However, this is kind of like one of those Chinese puzzles that we used to buy when I was a kid. There's one piece that's the key to solving the puzzle, and what you need to do is find out which one that is. Now on this, it happens to be this pin right here. Now that pin is going to be the more difficult one to get out, but once that is out, everything else will start coming apart. Okay, this is the swivel that you open up. That's the latch that holds it closed. Pull that aside. This swings up. This is where you put the staples. Okay, now once that's up, that pin has to come out. So this hole that's in here, you can see that it's oval shaped, and that's kind of like the only one on here when you make a close observation that's shaped like that. So there's a reason for that. That is to be able to shift that and push that that pin out. This spring, which is on both sides, is making it difficult to remove. So this is going to be the toughest part of the whole disassembly, is to get that out. So we're going to have to manipulate this. There, I felt it move. Okay, once it's moved, and what gives you trouble is these grooves on the pin. They keep catching the edges in there. So you're just going to have to keep wiggling and maneuvering this. There. Once everything's lined up, that keyway is lined up, it'll come out. Okay, that's the most difficult part. Okay, now you need to start disassembling. So we take that off, and I'm going to lay these down in sequence. Now the springs from both sides. See, it's held in that little clip there. Then there's a slot on both of those. These are identical springs. Okay, once the spring's out, the springs were holding this pin in. That'll come out. Okay, that's holding the hammer mechanism. And you see right here, there's the lever that hits the staples. I just released that. That's out. Okay, now there's a pin holding this in. This has a slot for this, and that slot extends into this upper hole. So what I'm going to do is manipulate this so that the slots line up, and right there, if you can see that, they lined up. Now I'm going to push this pin up into this hole. Couldn't do it with my fingers. Okay, once it's in the hole, that will slide out. Okay, now this top mechanism slides out, and you can see right here there's a stack of spring steel that fits in this slot. So that comes out. We can leave that together. There's not a reason to take that apart. Okay, now this mechanism here, this is holding the rest of the handle together, and this is kind of like a spring too. You can pry that top and bottom to get it off of that center pin. Okay, once that's off, okay, this swivel here is being held with the two halves that are sandwiched. So we open that up, remove that piece. Okay, now this opens, it's held with that clip right there. This is what clogged the staple hammer. It jammed it, and you can see here staples that are in there, and they have to be cleared so that the spring, the traveler spring, will be able to push the staples up to the hammer part. So that can be pulled out with needle nose pliers, and once that's cleared, the hammer can be put back together and will work good as new. Now assembly is just the opposite that we just did from the disassembly. Connect this back part in the handle together. Close it. The swivel has to go into this slot here. That's the lock for the front. Okay, now we just do everything in reverse. So now the parts, this is the very last one that's now going on. Snapped in. Okay, now we need to get this mechanism with its stacked springs. This goes in here. It's the lower hole. Takes this piece. So we slide this in. Align this slot up, and then push it down. Okay, this is the hammer slide. Line it up into that groove right there. Now we put this pin in. Get those slots open for these springs. Okay, the springs are going to set in this way. So we slide this on into there. Same with the other side. Slide it on. Okay, now that brings us to this one. And again, this is the key. This is locking everything in. Now you see how the spring does not allow that keyway hole to line up. So this is going to be a little bit of a struggle again. We have to push this spring up as we start this pin in the hole. There, that one's in. In. Oops. Okay, the handle. Okay, you see this edge here, that goes up. This goes into the notch here. Okay, locate the edge right there. It goes on the way it came off. Start it on there, hold it down, slide the handle and it clips on right there. Now we got a good working tool. Well, that's how you disassemble and assemble. And this is the Bostitch model H2B, model H2B. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.